My name is Keith Edgerton, and I am a historian. I've taught at Montana State University Billings for about 29 years now, and before that the University of Montana for a handful of years. And I have been guiding on the Missouri River for over nearly 20 years now. What do I love about the Missouri? I love the fact that it's still relatively untouched from the time of Lewis and Clark, and that there is an enormous amount of history on the river. It is it's the longest river on the North American continent, and it is wild and scenic in the portion that we do in Montana. And I can't think of another river that I would like to guide on more than the Missouri River, particularly through the places that we go. What books would I recommend that I really enjoy, that are central to the understanding of the region and the river that we pass through? Well, obviously the journals of the Lewis and Clark expedition is where one would start. The University of Nebraska Press has published all of them verbatim, and Volume 4 is the one that covers the upper Missouri portion, at least on the outbound to the Pacific journey. Volume 8 is on the way back, and so those are Lewis and Clark's own words, as well as the other members of the Corps of Discovery who kept journals. Stephen Ambrose's Undaunted Courage has drawn a lot of visitors and people over the years to the upper Missouri, and so it's especially important. And it's a really good read on the tragic demise of Meriwether Lewis, his complicated life. There's a new book by Dan Flores, a relatively new book called American Serengeti, which I've recommended and I've read and used in my classes, and it talks about rewilding the northern plains and all the politics behind that, and what that might look like if indeed large animals were reintroduced, the large charismatic animals that were once a part of the ecosystem and so much bound up in its identity, like bison and grizzly bear and elk and wolves and so forth. So to me, that's a really exceptional read and very timely. What's my favorite part about guiding on the Missouri? I absolutely love the guides that I work with. We've got a great team of guides. I love the people that we meet on every single trip. Every trip takes on a life of its own, and it's unique, even though I've done it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. It's like everyone is new. Every different person is seeing it, it seems like, for the very first time, and to me, I never get tired of it as a result. Where did I grow up? I actually was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and I grew up in eastern Kansas on the plains. I had a relative who lived in the mountains of Colorado, and I visited them when I was maybe 10 or 11 years old, and I fell in love with the mountains. Eventually I joined the Navy and didn't see the world, ended up in Seattle, and I loved the Pacific Northwest. And when I got out of the Navy, I wanted to go to college in a place where there were mountains. And the University of Montana sent me their college catalog, and that particular year they had a picture of Glacier Park on it. And I thought, well, what the hell, I want to go to that place if that's what the campus area looks like. Well, of course, Glacier Park is 120 miles or more by, as a crow flies from the University of Montana. But nonetheless, that's what lured me here. And to me, I love the place. I love its history. I love the people. I love particularly the landscape and the fact that we are a very large state here, 145,000 square miles, and we have just over 1 million people. And you can just really get out and get away and find solitude in nearly every corner of the state. And yet we're also, urban in some places, and we've got progressive cities like Bozeman and Missoula particularly, in which you can, go grab the latest microbrew or the latest craft distillery selection, great restaurants, vibrant nightlife scenes, but at the same time you can drive a half an hour and you're out in the boonies. And so to me, that is the best of all possible worlds. I love Montana, and I'm never going to leave.